What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another Amazing Dads podcast. Um, Today, just want to talk about a little bit of respect and discipline. I guess in the sense of how your kids are treating each other, and also how us parents show that respect at the same time towards our children. Now, I'm not saying that you got to bow down to your children. You got to say sorry every time, like, my fault, whatnot. But it's more like the kids need to understand that they need to respect the parents. At the same time, they also need to respect their siblings if they have siblings. Even if they don't have siblings, even towards their own friends, their peers, just so that you know your family values is pretty much shown through your children towards their friends. But if you do that too much, those kids may end up liking you more than their own parents. So hopefully that's not a problem for some of y'all. But if it is, it's a thin line to walk around. So let's dive into it real quick. So I bring that up because of what recently happened. So my younger son, he's really into Fortnite right now. And recently they just had their new season for Fortnite come out. So my mom, she sent him some money because he asked us, like, hey, I want to get this, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, I seen the money, but can't spend all of it, whatnot. And I was like, all right, cool. I made sure you don't spend all of it. He can get what he wants to get from it. And then maybe he'll, like what he like, play the game. So season comes out. Son gets home from school because he's been talking about it since the trailer showed last week. He's like, I can't wait. And today's the day. Now, the only way that he can purchase the stuff on there is if he goes in and my son puts everything for him because my son knows how to do all that stuff, do the thing because you have to go through a certain thing in order to put it in and whatnot. I don't know. It's a little process buying stuff online with them, but the way my younger son went about it to ask his brother to do it was very disrespectful, in my opinion. So let me tell you what he did. So he came downstairs. I was like, "What's the card I need to use?" Like, here's the card you can use. He goes, takes the card, throws it in front of his brother because my brother, his brother has his own little computer set up. He throws it on the table in front of him. Proceeds to direct his hand to be like, "Hey, you need to go ahead and put my stuff on there because I'm trying to play the game and whatnot." And my oldest son, he was like, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. He's not he ain't trying to be confrontational about it. He ain't about to get all aggressive with him. But then my younger son, he starts to get a little irritated, annoyed at the point. So then it's like, you gonna put it on there yet? So there was like no asking, there was no politeness behind it, no patience really, and it was like a demand to like, hey, you need to do this because they're like he gonna do nothing to him. So my oldest son came down and told me that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to him because one thing that I don't really tolerate between the siblings is them being disrespectful to each other. Now siblings, they want to fight. It's normal. They're gonna argue about the littlest things, what toys to play with. I had this first. I was in here first. I was watching this. They took the remote. Sibling squabbles. Okay. But this one was kind of like, nah, I can't go. I can't get down with this one. So I was like, okay, I'll talk to him. I come in. I let him have his dinner. You know, let things stir down for a little bit. Let things cool down for a minute. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to him after dinner. And I see him again. I pull him to the side. I was like, hey, let's have a conversation. So what I talked to him about was the way you went about asking. Really, he didn't really ask. The way he pretty much demanded that his brother use this money for one that was given to him to do something for him that he definitely can't do The demands that he made was very disrespectful, in my opinion, as to how he handled it. I was like, well, what I told him was, you cannot do that. You cannot be disrespectful to somebody who is going to help you do this so that you can play this, and with money that someone else gave to you that they allowed you to spend. You don't do that. And I was like, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the room. You're gonna apologize about what you did, and then in the midst of me talking to him about how he should have handled it, I was like, what you should have did was ask was like, hey, when you get a chance, can you please buy these V Bucks for me on Fortnite so I can play the new season on Fortnite or whatnot. And then you sit there and you wait. Nobody's on your time. You ate. Nobody's on your time. And I was like, listen, you can't do that. And just because of that, like I said, when I was talking to him about all this, I was like, well, the way your room looking, you shouldn't be playing nothing at all. So I was like, well, get the cleaning. So he was in the middle of playing the game. Nah, let's get up. Took him off the game. Let's clean up. We went, cleaned up his room. He got done with that. I was like, now, before you get back on here, you apologize to your brother for being disrespectful to him about, getting yourself a V-Bucks. So he sat there trying to get his words together because at this point, he's crying, he's upset. Because my kids do not like when I have to have a sit down talk with them because they start crying. And I don't yell at them or scream at them or nothing like that. I pretty much have a eye to eye serious talk with them. And I talk was like, listen, you cannot do that. My tone will change. Us dads, we have like a tone that we have to us that it kind of demands attention. So they kind of like have to listen. And I'm not saying that it weakens them, but it's more like it puts them in the sense of like my father is upset with me about how I handle something and I shouldn't do that. So he does that, he apologizes. And then I was like, you can also go to bed early tonight because I'm not I'm not dealing with that about how you want to be disrespectful. You want to be disrespectful, you can go to bed early. Um, and then at that point, I was done with him. I didn't take him off the game because he only had like an hour before he went to bed. So he had to do some tasks or whatnot. I didn't take him off the game, but you're going to bed early. And I told him if this happens again about the disrespect about you trying to do something, I'm just going to take you out for like the rest of the week, or I may adjust the time depending on what time of the week it is. If it's during the school week, I may just have to give like a really strict time limit. You get 30 minutes and that's it. Or if it's like the weekend, I may go as much as you can't play for the rest of the day, or you can't play for a couple hours. So the discipline pretty much depends on the time of the day or the action. I'm very versatile in how I approach it. But y'all can decide on how you would like to discipline your children based on actions that they need to be disciplined on. But at some point throughout the night, he came downstairs and he was in a better mood. I don't know how. I don't know why, but I think it might have clicked. Like, hey, he just came down. I was like, hey, Dad, what you doing? I was like, no, not much. Playing a game or whatnot. Or I was doing something on the computer. He was like, oh, okay. And I was like, don't forget, you still got to go to bed early tonight. He's like, I know. So he understands, for one, that he's respecting what I said earlier about not being disrespectful. He understands that he says to go to bed early. And I think he got off the game a lot earlier than I anticipated. So it's kind of like psycho mind Jedi mind trick that I might have did with him that did subconsciously. So the siblings, they need to respect each other, regardless if they fight or whatnot. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, you still gotta love your brother, love your sister. You gotta do whatever you can for them to make sure that no one else don't pick with them, mess with them, or whatnot. You will live in the same house. We gotta live together. Let's make the most of it. You get what I mean? So I ask all the parents out there, like, what is it or what values that you carry between your siblings, as far as like how they should talk to each other, how they respect one another. You know that they're gonna fight, they're gonna argue, disagree on things, which is fine. Everybody's their own person, but at the end of the day, you need to pretty much have come to some compromise. Like, hey, you can say like, hey, I didn't like that you did this. Can we do this next time? Or if you want me to do this, can you ask or can you wait? Just learn how to communicate one's feelings for one, respect the feelings that they have. At the same time, just know that y'all gotta love each other. You're gonna love each other at this point. Um, so for all the parents out there, that's what I'm saying. What is it that you do as far as like disciplining your children based on how they treat each other's siblings? Like, if one's disrespect to another, do you go make them do a project together? Do you make them go do some yard work together? Do you make them clean up the kitchen together? Do they have to do something together? Make them be in the same room, read a book together, have one tie the other one's shoes or something like that. I don't know. I mean, this random stuff that you kind of force them to interact with each other on a more level ground so that they can get to understand one another. On the other hand, you could pull out my game that I have called Generation Gap. There are some cards that I have where it could have some interaction between the siblings so that they can work out some differences that they may have. So, if you want to see some of those cards that I have made up, let me know in the comments below, and I make sure to get those out to y'all. Um, to follow with that update, I am working on, well, I will put this order form link in my description below for some new products that I'm working on for my Amazing Dads brand. I have some, I don't have the shirt on now, but I'm waiting on it for it to come in. It should be here the beginning of next week. I'm hoping that it gets here on time. Um, it's some shirts I have. I have some hoodies, I have some sweatshirts, and I also have some shorts. So what I have coming in are the shorts and two of the shirts that I have. And I got my mom and dad some jackets and some hoodies. And I have some stuff for the moms out there as well. I have a jacket for the mom and a sweatshirt. So make sure you click on the order form link down there and you'll be able to see the things that I have available. And you just fill it out. And I believe that the way I have it set up is you can pay through the order form. Let me know what you got, and I make sure I get that stuff out to you as well if you order something. All right. I believe that's all I have for today. Please make sure that your siblings respect each other, and parents do it in a respectable manner, and make sure that as fathers, we're doing our best to make sure that we uphold the foundational family values of the household, and make sure also the dads out there, and even for the moms, go to my order form down there, get y'all a couple of apparel, and show your support any way that you can. Um, I'm even willing to accept donations at this point. Um, but just make sure you're doing your part to make sure that we are raising our children up the right way. All right. So until next time, y'all stay blessed. Keep your head up. Keep going. Keep moving forward. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.